If you want to bend, interview me. Your words have to be coated with fire. And I'm going to be dealing with that another time. Your words have to be coated with fire. To a point that when you speak a thing, people will quake after you leave. Some of us, see, people accuse me of having a sharp tongue. If you want to bend, interview me. There are newspapers calling to interview our spokesperson, not me. Because even me, I'm not even confident of the thing I will say, whether they will be likable or not. I don't practice. I don't say send a question. When I sit down with you and you ask a question, you'll be the one to be embarrassed. People will fight you. Why? My words are coated with fire. Let me explain to you. Turn to your neighbor, say words are containers. You are not hearing. I said words are containers. Words are containers.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, the last time we had an interview with you was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I've not seen you do any interviews elsewhere. So we feel a bit blessed to have you once again.
You're really blessed.
But I have to ask the question, why are you elusive? Why do you not speak to the media? Why do you not do as many interviews? Do you have a problem with journalists?
Not really. I would say, as they say, if you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes journalism.
Okay.
So sometimes it's not really me being elusive. It's just that I don't trust some journalists.
Okay. Any particular reason you don't trust journalists? I mean,
like I said, if you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes news.
What's your sense of journalists, particularly in Zimbabwe? Without painting everyone with the same brush, what's your take on the standard of journalism?
I would plead the fifth.
Okay.
I've got one here who is Zimbabwean, and I'm back after 8 years in it.
All right.
That is a testimony that we still have good journalists in Zimbabwe.
Okay. A lot has happened, obviously, since we last spoke, and the most prominent being your appointment as ambassador at large. You're in charge of the Americas, Europe. Right. The question is, why of all the people in Zimbabwe did President Mnangagwa decide to appoint you in this position, which, by the way, is a first. No one has been appointed to this position before. So you're the first ambassador at large. And everyone is wondering, why you?
I think the question should not be why me. It should be why not me.
Okay, but we've asked it. Why you, though? I mean,
why
you would
me?
know. You would know.
You would know why you're asking that question, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if you looked at my qualification and said, no, he doesn't qualify, so I need to ask why him.
But there's a backstory.
There's
a backstory. There is a reason why President Mnangagwa would have looked at all the other prophets.
And he has said, I think the biggest problem you just did there was to say prophets. This is the biggest problem in Zimbabwe, per se. Maybe, let's say Africa. Imams are allowed to have oil rigs. Imams are allowed to have tall buildings and commercial buildings and all these investment portfolios that are huge. And nobody says, you're an imam, you are this, you're an imam. Yes, it seems as if the moment somebody becomes a pastor, a prophet, an apostle, a teacher, an evangelist, there's a problem. You should not be anything else except that.
The question
so
has
you
not
ask me,
presupposed.
No, you just said,
The question has not presupposed
you just
the
said
problem.
of all the prophets, right? That was the problem. You just said of all the prophets.
Okay.
If I ask you,
it is a bit of an obvious question. There are many prophets in Zimbabwe.
Of all the journalists, why you? I should be asking, you are a Zimbabwean.
Exactly.
That's the number one. You are a Zimbabwean.
It's still a legitimate question.
It's not a legitimate question.
Okay. Let me rephrase this.
Okay,
no one has suggested it's a problem you've been...
You just said prophet.
Okay. Let me ask the question. No one has suggested that it's a problem you've been appointed ambassador at large.
No.
The question
you
is,
haven't, but some have.
Okay, right. I am not those some.
Yeah.
I am me.
Yeah.
I'm asking on behalf of the people who are watching why President Emmerson Mnangagwa decided that Prophet Uebert is the best person to be appointed ambassador at large.
I think this is like you said, there is a backstory to it. If you look at what the president actually said, he mentioned all the rigorous training I had to go through. But before that, we have years of this, right?
Okay.
Where he mentioned about SB Moyo, how he was involved in choosing me. All these things that you see, you only saw maybe last year, this year, right, in March. But this is not this year. It was 2 years ago when this happened. You saw it now. The manifestation happened this year, but it is 2 years in the making.
Okay.
That's what you see. You see that. But reality is, if you look on my business, to my business portfolio, you know, you have been around me for a long time, even 8 years from, I think we are 8 years. You know for a fact what we do as a company. We know, you know for a fact my contacts. You know for a fact the vast number of actually the investors I know, the companies I know, the people, the business people I know, the millionaires and the billionaires that I know. I have a large portfolio with you know, that deals with all this investment. I invest in other countries, but the reality is what people know is what they focus on. They focus on, you are known as a prophet. Guess what? Why did he choose you? Because they don't know the other backstory.
But some legitimate questions arise from situations
all
like
right,
this.
yeah.
Zimbabwe is headed for elections in 2023.
Yeah.
So here's the president headhunting a prominent prophet.
Now,
let me ask the question. Here's the president headhunting a prominent prophet who leads a very large church with branches across the world. People are going to think politically that he is angling to get supporters from your church. So
of course, when things like this, when things like this happen, there's always going to be political cannibalism. Okay. Someone says this, someone says that, someone backbites, someone says nonsense, and that happens. But the reality is, I'm not the pastor or the bishop or rather a prophet or a clergyman with the largest number of people in Zimbabwe. If the president wanted to choose a prophet based on what you're saying right now, he'd have chosen another guy that is locally strong when it comes. My congregants are around the world, and we call ourselves a coat of many colors. In other words, what we have, if you go, let's say, for example, you go to London, we have a church of 2,500 people, right?
Okay.
And Sunday attendance is 1,200, 1,300. Out of that, we have 37 Zimbabweans. That would be a bad choice if he's looking for votes. You're talking about, that's the diaspora. You've got a lot of people. I've got churches in the diaspora. We're talking about 257 branches. But most of those congregants are not from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So if it was the choice of the president to look for somebody for political reasons, that was a bad choice.
Okay.
And that man is not making bad choices.
Are you taking a bit of a risk, though, given how polarized Zimbabwe is? The country is heavily divided. You are either ZANU-PF or you are MDC. So in a very polarized society like Zimbabwe, is it a risk for a person like you to accept this appointment and be seen to be aligned to the ruling party?
Okay, let me just say this. I think that question says a lot about our society.
Okay.
Because I know you, so I would not want to say it says a lot about you, because I know you. But it says a lot about our country, where somebody should be restricted to one political party. The moment we do that, we are no longer democratic. Whether we are in the opposition party, you know, and we're saying, you guys in the ruling party are wrong. You should only do this and do this and do this. Support me if I'm wrong. That's exactly what the ruling party would be saying. Support us if you are right. And the opposition party says, if you are the right person, you support us. That's dangerous. In the Western world, it's not like that. People are allowed to support whosoever they like. And I'm not running no risk. I'm not thinking of any risk. There's no risk here. I'm here to help people. Remember, I'm a philanthropist. All right? I've helped a lot of people. We have just done a 1 million, a pledge, and we actually went over that pledge. We really did it. I'm talking about we walk the talk. Now, next year, January, we are starting another one, right? And that's over 1 million again. Just giving. And guess what? The first people we gave, right? Hear this. First people we gave our aid to were MDC constituents. And you know this. It's publicized everywhere. We even had the